Please be seated. Before I get started, I want to begin by introducing myself. My name is Jack Carr, and I have been attending St. James for my entire life. In 2 weeks, I will be starting one of the scariest and most exciting times of my life, college. College is going to introduce me to new people, experiences, and situations. From my freshman orientation to graduating in 4 years, I know college is meant to challenge me and allow me to learn and grow into an intelligent, hardworking, thoughtful adult. With all the recent downtime because of COVID, I've been able to think a lot about if I'm ready for this next step in my life and what it will entail. However, I realized I am extremely prepared for college because of St. James and the opportunities you and our church have afforded me. Even from a young age, I was encouraged to be active in our church. I began acolyting around the age of 8 and worked my way through the rankings to become a senior acolyte when I started high school. I joined our EYC in 6th grade and have been a regular attendee for 7 years. Through EYC, I have had the ability to go on 4 different mission trips, learning the importance of service and community while on these trips. This past year, I was a member of the Western North Carolina Episcopal Diocese Youth Council, a small group of high schoolers that are in charge of planning and leading youth conferences in the Diocese of Western North Carolina. Then, perhaps one of my most vivid memories of church was being able to attend Camp Henry for 8 summers as a camper and 2 summers as a lamper, which is Camp Henry's version of a counselor in training. These 10 summers helped me build lasting relationships and develop my spiritual faith. All of these things served as a fountain, flowing with knowledge, which taught me leadership, communication, and spiritual skills that I will use regularly in the coming years. Without St. James, the clergy, you the parishioners, and the Episcopal Church in general, I know that I would not be the same person today. So thank you to everyone in this church who has helped me prepare for college and the rest of my life. Okay, I would like to switch gears a little bit and discuss survival. What does it mean? According to a dictionary, it is the state or fact of continuing to live or exist, and it generally includes finding food, water, and shelter in order to stay alive. As we read the gospel today, we learn about one of the times where Jesus was influential in helping people survive. Acting as a shepherd to the 5,000 people following him, Jesus heals the sick and creates enough food for everyone. However, there is one thing I want to point out. This story in the Bible is called Jesus Feeds the 5,000. But in verses 19 through 20, the story reads, "Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over." There is no doubt that Jesus may be the best host of all time, but without his disciples, he could have never fed all of these people. His disciples were the ones that wanted to send the people back to the villages so they may eat that evening. They were the ones who gathered all the people to be seated in front of Jesus, and they were the ones who passed out the food. They showed just as much compassion for these people as Jesus did. Without the disciples, the entire group would have never been fed. The 5,000 people were hungry, and Jesus and his disciples helped disperse their hunger. Now, this isn't the only occurrence in the Bible of Jesus providing support to his followers. When the woman at the well speaks with Jesus, he consoles her and explains that the water he gives her will cause her to never thirst again. Jesus creates something that will cause his believers to prosper. As a matter of fact, I think prosperity is a better word to use for both of these stories. Prosperity, a successful, flourishing, and thriving condition. Prosperity and survival may seem very similar, but I think the major distinguishable factor is prosperity generally involves a sense of happiness, which comes from the support, care, and compassion other individuals show us. This is what Jesus and God want for us. They are not just there to help us survive when we need food, water, or shelter. They show compassion to us, they support us, they care for us, and they are standing beside us to help guide us through difficult times to ensure that we have the ability to prosper. It is why Jesus heals the blind, why he and his disciples feed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, and why God invites everyone to the waters in our reading from Isaiah today. In the current day and age, I think many of us are wishing for prosperity. The uncertainty in today's society makes it hard to go to the grocery store, and it's even harder to support each other in this day and age because of everything going on. A global pandemic is one of the largest tests of the human race, but we are going to get through this. We will return to our normal lives, which will help bring us closer to prosperity. We are Jesus' disciples, so just like how they helped feed the 5,000, we must do our part in our current situation for the prosperity of all. By caring for one another, ensuring the safety of one another, and valuing all people, we will prosper with God's help. Amen.